Hello viewers and welcome to New Zim TV. My name is Tatenda Mandondo and with me on the show is the Zimbabwe National Students Union spokesperson, that's ZINASU spokesperson Tatenda Mandondo. We are going to be discussing issues that are affecting the students. As you know, our country is facing serious economic challenges. So hello Tatenda and welcome to the show.
Hello Tatenda, nice to be here.
Okay, thank you very much. That's ZINASU spokesperson Tatenda Mandondo. Can you just tell us, with this current economic hardships, how are the students managing?
Well, on a very obvious level, yes. Especially in a country as ours, facing a serious economic, political and social crisis of such a magnitude. Students are the ones who suffer mostly, yes, and are the most vulnerable. In the sense that if you look at it like the current trends, whereby you're having the prices of basic commodities skyrocketing, whereby you're having the issues of landlords demanding their rentals in US dollars, or even in this currency, the RTGS one, whereby landlords will be charging in very high figures that would defy any logic, or our parents' salaries and bank statements. So on a very basic level, students are suffering because we are failing to buy basic commodities, we are failing to pay rentals, they are living like destitutes, and now it is now cascaded down to a social level, whereby we're now having social problems, yes, whereby the cases of theft have risen. If you look at it closely, students are now stealing amongst each other, students losing laptops and different gadgets, as a way of survival. And also now we have the girl child, who's the most vulnerable, now resorting to unnatural means of prostitution, so as to get so as to survive, like with the new trend, the blesser trend. So it's now, that's why I said it is cascaded down to a social level, whereby there's now a risk of sexually transmitted disease infections, new infections. So basically, the students are suffering more than they should be.
All right, I think the Secretary General, that is Ashley Pfunye, I think about a month ago, he did mention, I think, most of the issues you are saying to me right now. Then he also said that students are swimming in poverty. He also said that he was worried, as ZINASU, you were worried about the drug abuse. Have you perhaps maybe encountered this challenge?
Yeah, this challenge is very glaring and obvious. Yes. In most institutions of higher learning, especially the drug abuse. Okay, drug abuse is not a new trend, yes, something that existed. But now if you look at the levels of drug abuse, whereby you have a high rise of numbers of students who are now engaging in these illicit drugs. Like you look at students who are now smoking marijuana, because now the issue is now psychological, because there's no escape physically. Yes. People would want to escape mentally. So if you look at it closely, they are now drinking bronco, smoking marijuana. There's now the issue of toriro. People. So as a way of escaping. Now it's affecting their studies also in the end, that at the end, where we're having a high number of deferments, we are having a high number of abscondment, students no longer attending lectures, students thinking it's better to defer because of such a crisis. And now it's come to a funny point where today I was reading a headline by the Herald saying, where Professor Amon Murira said that MSU had applied for a budget license.
Do you think it's a good move? He says it's for medical purposes. Yeah,
it's one of two things. It's good. It's a good move commercially. If MSU wants to raise money because we had the groundbreaking use of medical marijuana in medicine. But I think we are now prioritizing the wrong issues, or underutilizing land that should be meant. I think it was better for them to ask for certain inputs from government, poultry, even for irrigation purposes, grow maize, help feed the institution.
Okay.
But it's also, in the long run, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but I'm saying it's not the right time.
Okay. Do you perhaps fear maybe that if this mbanje, the marijuana, is grown, maybe students might might want to?
Yeah, people might take it funnily, but we all know, that social perception whereby students we now having a false sense of of preoccupation, saying, I know our institution is now growing marijuana, so probably it's legal to smoke marijuana, what. But also, I don't think there will be any rise at all due to this factor. But it's so funny now. I think when they are talking about thinking of marijuana, especially an institution like MSU, and now looking back at the decisions that they've made in the near past and the present future, I think it's a clear sign that they are reverting to the source of their madness.
Reverting to their source of their madness. That is Tatenda Mandondo, who is the spokesperson of ZINASU. We are discussing issues that are affecting the students. Moving on, I saw on your Facebook page that you were fighting against the tuition fees increase in different universities like ZINASU and
Catholic.
Yes, and Catholic
and
University.
AU.
Have you maybe perhaps won the fight?
Well, as you know, fight against neoliberalism and capitalism is hard to fight. Yeah. Is hard to win, but then, as we always say, is that alutua continua, the struggle will always continue. We will not tire. But now the issue is institutions such as Catholic University, Ezekiel University, you look at Africa University, and then you also go, like recently CAT is mooting on what? On fee increment. I think it's now high time for the students of Zimbabwe, not only just the ZINASU leadership, but the students of Zimbabwe as a whole, in their different social backgrounds or political backgrounds, to not take a stand. Because the moment we might make all the noise in the world that fees needs to be reduced, and seriously, it defies logic. When your parent is getting $450 as salary and you're 4 or 5 in your house, and the government says there's a $129 increment in their salaries, and then your institution is now charging $1,554 a semester, only for tuition, regardless of the accommodation, regardless of the food, regardless of anything to do with your upkeep at the school. Now it defies logic on how and where we are going as a nation. But now, what is NAS? We have a plan of action that we are currently undertaking, and we are rolling out in a few weeks' time. It's a nationwide. I won't say shut down, because we know how the government of Zimbabwe responds to the term shutdown. But it's a national day of action whereby we are taking into account and asking for some of our questions to be addressed. We were simply demanding answers, and not just answers, but also results that will reflect a definite change for the student population.
Okay. Well, speaking of the 129, I think the Herald says that the civil servants are smiling all the way to the bank because of the 129 increment. Well,
basically, coming from the Herald, that's a Nyaope-induced syndrome. You don't have to take it seriously.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you cannot smile about that.
Salaries of civil servants will definitely affect the students, because I think the bulk of students, parents are working
in the civil service.
In the civil service, yes. I understand there are some students who are being detained, maybe due to this demonstrating.
Okay. Firstly, at Great Zimbabwe University, around 8 students were arrested at Mashava campuses. And this was not even a normal demonstration. They were demanding answers in terms of their SRC they were demanding answers in terms of issues to do with fees, accommodation, and they were only distributing photos of themselves, holding placards that show that they really wanted change. But then the university, well, of course with the aid of state machinery, descended heavily upon the students, arrested them, but then later released them without charge, because definitely what they were doing was very legal. It's not only Great Zimbabwe University. Just recently, we have two students from Ezekiel Gut University, a church university for that matter,
yeah.
Suspending students simply on the basis that they were asking, not singing, not laughing off, but simply asking why there was going to be a fee increment, and they were suspended. So when you now have a church environment operating as a university, stifling the freedoms, you begin to wonder what exactly is going on at this current time.
Do you feel that maybe as students you would want to celebrate
okay, I think it would be very difficult not to celebrate independence.
Yes.
Because independence, basically we are celebrating the lives of those who laid down their lives in taking back this country. But we'll be celebrating it in our own way. Not celebrating with the charlatans at State House, the charlatans in government, who are now taking back that very freedom that they claimed to have fought for, which we don't see, because when something is done, we need to see results. But now when the results are only in the mouths of those who will be claiming to have done US service, it now becomes difficult. Definitely, tomorrow will be 39 years of Uhuru, and definitely we'll be celebrating, especially thinking of those gallant sons and daughters of the soil who laid down their lives, those gallant sons of the soil who are still alive, but we're part and parcel of the liberation struggle. Because if it's so funny, look at the current majority of the war veterans are the ones who are suffering, who do not drive Porsche cars or live in plush suburbs. But we share our struggles day to day. But I think as independence, as the 18th of April draws closer, I think it's a day to also state our own war of liberation. Now this is different in the aspect of there will be no gun. It's only a bit of the minds. Now trying to it's now a decolonial restructuring of the mind from injustice, from glaring dictatorship, from economic, political, and social injustice. Just to be more precise.
We are here with ZINASU spokesperson Tatenda Mandondo. Join us after the break.
Fellow friends, family, and my Zimbabwean diaspora, I have experienced death, and I can tell you that death is inevitable, and yet such a big taboo subject as Africans. Please don't put it off. Guarantee your family a decent send-off. Talk to Diaspora Funeral Cashman today. They're just a phone call away, and they will put you at ease when you need them.
Welcome back. You are watching New Zim TV, the profile, and today we have ZINASU spokesperson Tatenda Mandondo. We are discussing issues that are affecting the students politically, socially, as well as economically. Well, Tatenda, I understand there are some your fellow comrades, your fellow colleagues who have been put into exile. What do you have to say about that?
Well, definitely it's a sad scenario seeing such an instance occurring, because we have many, if you remember, especially after the national shutdown, especially this in January, you had the state machinery or the state going after individuals whom they said were basically they thought were rotten apples, or were infecting others with the bad mind, because we have many number of current and former ZINASU members.
Yes,
Were
Joanna
to
Mamombe is one of them, yeah.
Joanna Mamombe, Pride Mkono, even Promise Mkwananzi. There are many. Even our current national executive at one point was forced to leave the country for 2 weeks because they were receiving funny phone calls, funny visits, and all men of threatening gesture towards us. This is now an issue whereby there's no rule of law in Zimbabwe. I know they are saying they are trying to sync the new dispensation with the standards of governing, but I think it's simply a matter of the crocodile going back to its nature, which is aggressive, does not care, and very, very dangerous.
Would you say President Mnangagwa is the same as former President Mugabe?
Well, I think the apple really falls far away from the tree. You heard him saying that at one point that President Mugabe was his father.
Yes. And
they were together for, I believe, more than 5 decades. I think around 56 years. So every trick whatsoever that Robert Mugabe had up his sleeve, definitely it's a genetical thing. And we would want to see a change. But we are forced to see that there is no change at all. As we
round up, do you think that maybe the government is doing enough? And do you think that we would go back to a situation where students will be maybe given grants or something like that?
Okay, at the beginning of this so-called new dispensation, I actually nearly uploaded our Chancellor, Mr. Mnangagwa, for slashing down, the attachment fee issue. Yes. To 40%, saying it's a gradual process. But now we are seeing an issue whereby they're slashing down they've slashed down the 40% of the attachment fees, but they've actually increased the tuition fee. So basically it's now an issue for 2 steps forward, 8 steps backwards. We really are going nowhere, and the government is really not doing enough. And like recently the minister was talking of scraping off useless degrees, but then recently at a public lecture at MSU he said no, he never said that. That was only a headline, and so it's hard to say where they really stand, or hard to know where they really stand. But I think it's at this moment I think it would be easier to squeeze water out of a rock than expecting the current administration to bring back grants and loans.
We are discussing issues to do with the youths, particularly students, issues that are affecting them. I think I did see on your Facebook page that you were urging students to donate something towards the Cyclone Idai victims.
Yes.
I just want to know how much have you managed to contribute to that?
Okay, what we have done simply as ZINASU, yes, was that soon after the disaster struck, we had a high number of students turn out in their local communities, their local institutions, helping out into the distribution of clothing, items, and also with a union account whereby students would post or would send money via EcoCash. That was donated to a Cyclone Idai, and also we were also in conjunction with with different organizations that were helping, and we also helped, like here in Harare we were helping by Presbyterian Church in Islands as well. So we've done quite a lot towards helping the affected people. All right,
maybe just before we close, you might want to say something to the students, perhaps to encourage them to keep pushing in this.
Yeah, I know. I've always encouraged students to keep pushing, but now we would want to encourage students to act. Like what we said, we're calling for a national day of action. It's not necessarily a national day of action, but it's now simply a course of action we must take towards reminding the powers that be that we really need change. Our proposed course of action is not violent. We We don't accept violent behavior. We don't accept anything that goes beyond what is deemed legal. But what is within the legal confines, we definitely will apply, so as to make the powers that be hear and appreciate us.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Tatenda Mandondo.
Thank you.
Well, that was Tatenda Mandondo, who is the ZINASU spokesperson. We were discussing issues that are affecting the students. My name is Tatenda Dembedza, and do follow us on our website, that is www.newzimbabwe.com. You can follow us on Facebook at newzimbabwe.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at newzimbabwe.com. Until we meet again next time, it is bye-bye for now.